We all love movies, but in recent time during pandemic when there was nothing to do, I started watching movies more often. In those time, I started to love and admire the movies and cinema more than I ever did. So much that the admiration of mine made me explore the cinema more, and in the exploration I found so many cinematic gems around the world. I started feeling really joyful after watching them, because there were movies that were like an honor to watch. As I was so much in love with movies, I started to feel this desire to be connected with the cinema community. So I started subscribing to channels related to cinema and joined some groups on the internet that were about cinema, where I learned the term cinephile, a person with passionate interest in cinema. The cinema community was really nice, loving and helpful, with their same goal of exploring the art of cinema, appreciating the personalities behind the screen that were overlooked by the mainstream media, recommending stuff to their fellow partners, understanding and appreciating the both happiness and adversity of life. It used to feel very nice being part of such wholesome community. But everything used to fall apart when the topic of best movie of all time used to come, or whenever a person used to make a statement of certain movie being the best of all time, with people opposing the statement of a certain movie being the best of all time by presenting their picks of which is actually the best movie of all time. When this thing used to happen, I used to think, why can't they all just come to an agreement? Maybe it's because movies are subjective and people have different tastes. But that was not completely true either, because every time the community fell under such chaos, I used to notice a pattern. A pattern that, as we know, every culture that is mainstream has its counterculture. In same way, with every movie you make a statement of it being the best movie of all time, there will be a counterculture for it. So the problem seems to be the counterculture. So why does it exist and where does it come from? To fully understand this, first we would have to see a relation of a certain thing with cinephiles, and that certain thing is rating and awards, mostly IMDb rating and Academy Awards. Cinephiles share a really strange relation with them. Cinephiles don't care about rating and awards, yet still it matters to them. For example, if a movie is really good and has high rating and has won many awards, it would be so much appreciated by the cinephiles. Just the fact that it has high rating and has won awards would be the core reasoning when asked what makes this film great, rather than reasoning its subject and content which truly made the film great. But in the other hand, if a movie is really great but doesn't have high rating or any awards, cinephiles will start making statements like, rating doesn't matter, nor does award. It's the content of the movie that matters. These ratings and awards are the major factor which gives birth to the counterculture and ignites it. Because they try to make a fact out of something that is subjective, which is not gonna work because it already is subjective, and making a fact out of it will only give birth to counterculture. Like when Parasite won the best picture years ago, people were opposing it. So why were people opposing it even though it was a good movie? Because it had become mainstream. But becoming mainstream is not only the factor that fuels the counterculture, as The Shawshank Redemption is highest rated movie of all time on IMDb and is also titled as the greatest of all time by many medias. But if you go out on the internet to have a discussion stating The Shawshank Redemption is the best movie of all time, the counterculture will oppose you. Not because The Shawshank Redemption isn't a good movie, it's because the reason that people don't like being generalized. They always have this desire and love to stand out in crowd, which ignites counterculture so much. As the mainstream is mostly majority and people always want to look unique, and there is nothing unique in being majority. You don't stand out while you're in the majority. So they always try to find something that is an alternative of it and is in minority and is as good as that of it in majority and worth competing with the one in the majority, so that preferring it over the majority will make you feel different and might help you feel superior to others. Because unlike others, you are not just another brick in the wall, because you don't go with the majority. So nowadays it's not about finding the best thing out, but instead is a battle between majority and minority just to stand out. Like if you claim Shawshank Redemption is the greatest, you will be opposed with The Godfather, and if you say Godfather is the greatest, you will be opposed with The Citizen Kane, and the cycle continues. Not that the finding greatest movie of all time even matters, rather than enjoying each and every one of them. But this desire of ours to stand out from crowd is not that bad either, because that desire of ours is what has helped humanity to come up with new and innovative ideas that has changed the world. But as everything has good and bad sides, humans feel this desire to stand out so intensely that they will feel this need to prove themselves different than others, even in those situations where it's not needed. Yet still people spend their whole life trying to prove themselves different from others just to feel this sense of holding higher ground, which in the end brings them nothing but the loneliness, all because of his selfish desire to feel superior than others.